Hello students, this is your class 8 science class. Today we are going to start third chapter, force and pressure. So what is force? In earlier classes also we have studied that something applied pressure, push or pull is occurring because of that is force, isn't it? Push or pull is the force that we are applying on any object, that is force. Now, a stationary object on which no force is acting. For example, if I take this duster and if I apply no force on it, it will obviously remain as it is on the table. If this chalk was, it is kept on the table and if no force is applied, it is not going to move here from any place, isn't it? In that case, an object in motion continues to move with the same speed and direction when no force is acting on the object. Similarly, as this object is not moving, and if I apply force of push or pull, are you getting me? Push or pull. In that case, only this object is moving. But on the other hand, consider a vehicle, a car, suppose. It is moving on the road with a specific speed, say 20 kilometers per hour. Slowly it is moving. But when I will not apply any force, like applying a brake, in that case, the car will not stop or its speed will not be reduced. So that is moving of a car in the same direction when no force will be applied on that moving object. So, if you want to bring this stationary object in motion, you need to apply force. If you want to bring this moving object to stop, you have to apply force. In all the cases, you have to apply force. And this is actually the Newton's first law of motion. Wherever a stationary object to bring it into motion or a moving object to bring it into action. In both the cases, force is needed to be applied. Otherwise, no work is done. No changes will be occurring in that stationary object or moving object stopping. So that is what called invented by Newton, and that's why we call it Newton's first law of motion. Okay. Now, force applying we understand, but forces can be classified into two different types. One is contact force and another one is non-contact force. So, what is contact force and what is non-contact force? I hope you know the meaning of the word contact. Contact means what? In touch with any object. That is contact. I am directly in contact with this duster because I am holding it in my hand. That is contact force. I am holding it in air, so I am applying force to hold it above the table. Are you getting? This is contact force. To move this chalk box, I am applying contact force. Though this is my muscular force. So I am applying force and that object is moving. That is contact force. But there are certain other type of contact for non-contact forces also. Then how non-contact force occur? Have you seen any fruit like say a mango falling from a tree? Where does it go? If a fruit falls from a tree, where does it go? Is it going upwards? No, obviously it goes down. What is pulling it down? What is pulling it down? Can you tell me? Obviously, it is the gravitational pull of the earth. Gravitational force of the earth that is pulling the fruit down from a tree. If this is a tree of, say, a coconut tree, and if these are the coconuts, where they will fall down, where they will fall if they break open from this tree. Obviously, they are going to go down and not up. Then what is pulling it down? Push or pull is force. Either it should be push or either it should be pull. In that case, now what is pulling this fruit down towards the ground? This is actually the gravitational force of the earth that is pulling everything towards its surface. Isn't it? Now this force, gravitational force, can we see that, or are you touching it to bring it down to the ground? No, I am not going to touch the fruit. Obviously it is going to fall to the ground, and this gravitational pull is pulling it down. But we cannot see this. Here the gravitational force is not seen and the object is falling down to the ground. In that case, this force is non-contact force, where we are doing it by touching. In that case, it is contact force, and where we are doing it without touching or without seeing, the force is acting. That force is your non-contact force. Are you getting the difference between contact and non-contact forces? Contact force will be seen in cases like when we are holding an object, isn't it? I am holding, I am pushing, I am pulling. In that case, that is a type of contact force. You are holding something or throwing a football. There also it is in direct contact with your body. So, muscular force. Now, bullock carts are pulled by the bullocks. Muscular force is a type of contact force because directly it is in touch with the force applying, isn't it? The object is showing movement only because of direct contact. Without contact, I cannot move this box of chalk. Is it possible? I will say push, push, go, but it will not go. I will have to be in contact with it and push it. Then only it will be moving. So this is where muscular force is acting. Are you getting? But in case of non-contact force like that of your gravitational force, of the earth, we cannot see it operating, but everything is pulled towards the earth's surface. So we know that everything is being attracted towards the earth's surface. So there is some or the other force, but we cannot see them. So that is your non-contact forces. Another force which acts like the gravitational force. Have you seen a magnet? Have you seen a magnet? Magnetic force. From a distance, you can pull the iron objects, iron nails from the place where it is kept. You don't have to directly keep in contact with the magnet. From a distance, it will be pulling the iron objects or nail iron made towards the magnet. So, magnetic force is also a kind of non-contact force. So, what is force? Push or pull applied on any object is the force. And the basic two types of forces are contact and non-contact force. Contact force, where the force applying object and the moving object or the object on which the force is being applied are in direct contact. But in non-contact force, though the force is seen, we cannot see the gravitational or the magnetic force from a distance. From a long distance, it is pulling it towards them. But we cannot see the direct contact. So, it is called as non-contact force. Okay? So, a car moves in a forward direction when a man applies force from behind. A reluctant dog is being pulled by the master, and a boy playing football is kicking the ball away. Here, everywhere we find that a force is acting on two bodies through an interaction between them. There is a interaction between them. Can you see these pictures? Car being pushed by the man, dog being pulled by the man, and a football being kicked, and it will go far away. So in all these three examples, we see that there is interaction between two things and force is being observed acting upon it. On the other hand, if you take a fruit falling from a tree, or the magnet pulling the iron nails, or one more force, when you rub your hair with the comb many times, 15-20 times, and then bring it near bits of paper, you see that bits of paper get obviously attracted towards the comb. In that case also, the force cannot be seen, and that force is your electrostatic force that is being generated on the object that is comb by constant rubbing your hair with the comb. So you see, a coconut is falling from a coconut tree. Objects are attracted to the earth due to the force of gravity. When a comb gets rubbed against the hair, small bits of paper kept on the table gets attracted to the comb. The comb has an electrostatic charge, and there is an induced opposite charge on the pieces of paper. And thus the pieces stick to the comb. And a force is seen to act through a direct contact of the object or via one more object. Such a force is called as contact force. And a force is applied between two objects even if the two objects are not directly in contact. They are not touching each other. Then also the force applied is seen. And such a force is called as non-contact force. So, muscular force is an example of contact force and is applied to objects with the help of our muscles. It is applied in several cases such as lifting, pushing, pulling. But on the contrary, opposite to this, forces like magnetic force, gravitational force, as well as electrostatic force. Electrostatic force. These cannot be seen. Or here, two objects are not directly in contact with each other. Then also the effect of force is seen. Therefore, these are the examples of non-contact force. So, try at home which are the contact forces and which are the non-contact forces. Suppose when a ball is kept on a table and pushed a little, it moves ahead and gets slowed down after some time. Okay, if this ball is moved on the table, it will not go much distance. After some time, automatically it will stop. Automatically it will stop without applying any force. Okay. A car running on a plain road travels some distance and stops after the engine is switched off. This is because of the force of friction. So here you see two things are in direct contact, the table and the ball, or the car which is running on the road, the tire and the road are in direct contact. And obviously after some time, without my stopping also, this ball stops. In that case, what is happening between the two surfaces of this ball and this table? What is happening, beta? Here, two surfaces are coming in contact with each other, and the one of the surface is trying to stop the other surface which is moving on it. In that case, this is a kind of force called as frictional force. This is your frictional force. As both the objects are in direct contact here, it is a type of contact force. So types of contact force are muscular force and frictional force. Types of non-contact forces are gravitational force, magnetic force, and electrostatic force. Okay? Now, frictional force is very useful in our daily life. Otherwise, you will kick up football and it will keep on rolling round the earth without someone stopping it. If no one will stop it, it will make a complete circle of our earth. Isn't it? But frictional force is the force which helps us to bring into control the speed of some object. Isn't it? While walking also, we do not slip and fall down. We push the ground behind with our feet. In the absence of friction, we will slip and we will not be able to walk. Have you moved on some slippery floors where water, oil or talcum powder is spilled over the floor? You slip and fall down. How many fractures will happen if there will be no friction between your feet and the floor on which we walk? So, all the objects in motion have a frictional force acting on them, which is acting in the direction opposing to the motion. Now this ball wants to move forward, but the table floor is opposing its motion and controlling its speed and makes it stop. Okay? So opposite direction they are making and stopping the moving object. And for example, as I told you, on water, oil or banana skin, you can slip very easily. Similarly, one can slip due to mud also. So these are the examples of reduced friction. So friction is very important. So for today's work, I hope you have to write down the definition of force and information about contact and non-contact forces. Write down difference between contact and non-contact forces. That is your homework for the day. This is your question 1. Question 2 will be difference between contact and non-contact forces. You will be writing in your 4 fair copy. Okay? Only 2 questions for the day as your homework. Is that clear? Only 2 things you have to do, and I want you all to do it fast, so that in our next class we shall continue with balanced and unbalanced forces. What are they? And then we can also understand further topics like inertia. Okay? So thank you for the day. Do your homework and bye, all of you.